Hello everyone, Quilting with Harriet here. I saw a lady on Facebook on Pro Stitch or Posse today was having trouble setting up an edge to edge. So I reached out to her and I showed her how to set up her design the way that I would do it. So I thought I would show you all as I set up this quilt for my customer. So I'm going to zoom over to my tablet and zoom in, and I'm going to show you how I set up my edge to edge. And the title of this video is Why I Don't Stretch When I'm Doing an Edge to Edge. And I'm going to show you exactly why I will not stretch my patterns. So come on with me and I'll show you how I set this up. So here's my Pro Stitcher, and I'm going to zoom in so you all can see the screen here. Just a little bit. I think you can see that screen pretty good. So I chose a pattern by My Creative Stitches called Feather Fantastic Edge to Edge, and this actually is a 12-inch height pattern, and I'm just going to change it to 13 inches in height because maybe that'll be one less row for me to quilt. So I'm going to come over here to modify and resize, and my lock is on and my height is selected. So I'm going to come down here to the bottom to the keypad. It's going to pop up for me, and I'm going to select 13 inches, and because my lock is on, it's going to change the height and the width together. So I hit enter, and now I've got a 13 inch in height by 21 inches in width. So let's go ahead and hit the repeat key, and I'm going to turn that stretch off. I don't want it on. I'm going to say fill up my area with that design. And as you can see, at the size of 13 inches, it's telling me, hey, we can only get 6 rows in here. But if I put another one in, it's going to be a mess. It's not going to work. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to close up the gap. I'm going to come over here to where it says vertical, and down here where it says gap, I'm going to minus the gap. And I played with this a minute ago and I saw that it was around 3 inches, so I'm just going to go minus 3 and then I'll tweak it. So you can see that it came in. Now right here I want to get closer in here, so I'm going to come down to this zoom button down here and zoom in, and now I'm really going to tweak that gap. I can hold my finger down here. Okay, so that looks to be okay. I'm going to hit the refresh key, which is the little house down here, so I can see that I don't see a lot of white in between. I don't see a lot of open spaces, maybe a little bit, so I'm going to go just a little bit more. There, that looks pretty good, and it's not touching anywhere, so when I drag and drop, it'll be perfect. Okay, hit the refresh key again. Now, the reason I don't stretch is because I told this pattern I wanted it to be 13 inches in height. Watch what happens when I hit the vertical stretch to fill in the up and down areas here. Look at how it distorted my pattern. I don't like that. And I have holes here that that's not the way that I do it. So I'm going to undo that stretch. I'm going to turn off that button. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some more repeats in here to fill it up myself. So I'm going to go to my vertical repeat. I have 6 right now. There's 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe one more to fill up those empty spaces over there. There we go. Now I have some empty spaces on my rows here, so I'm just going to go to my horizontal and I'm going to add another repeat. And so see how all of that is outside of my area? No worries. I'm going to go to modify, crop, and I'm going to crop outside, and I'm going to close all those starts and stops so it stitches straight across. I'm going to close those edges over here, and I've got a little bit of edge up there on the top. Let's see, it remembers the pattern that I took off, so I can move this up and down. I'm going to go to my modify reposition, and I'm going to put the follow button on that I have here. You can also find it under Pro Stitcher, but I put mine outside on the quick access bar. So here you see my crosshairs. When I hit follow and I zoom in, it helps me to see what's closest to the needle. So now I can really see the top over here. So I'm going to see if I bring this down a little bit, maybe it'll connect those edges. There we go, they're closed, look at that. So now I'm going to go back to my repeat screen, and there you can see my pattern is ready to go, almost. I have to hit baseline. What baseline does is it takes the 10 repeats down and 6 repeats across, and it makes it one pattern horizontally and one pattern vertically. So now it's all one big pattern, so the machine doesn't have to think, oh, I need to go across this many times and I need to go down this many times, and it's processing and processing, and it slows you down a little bit. So when you baseline, then the pattern becomes one, and it becomes much quicker to stitch out. It doesn't have to process all that information. One more step I'm going to do. It's 5 o'clock here Eastern time, ready for dinner. I have to go cook. I'm going to save this pattern just in case I have to shut it down and I don't finish it tonight. So I'm going to go File, Save, and I'm going to save the selected. I don't need my area once I get this started. The area has nothing to do with my quilting this pattern out, because it just let me set it all up. So I can delete my area, I can save it, and it won't save the area. It's all good. And I do have a video on how to start up again if you have to turn it off for the night. So be sure to check that out. And give me a thumbs up, please. Subscribe to the channel while you're here. And leave me a comment if this is going to help you. So I'm going to save this. So as soon as I hit save, I'm going to find the folder that I want to save it in. And I put a folder in here called A, because I want it at the top, and current. So I have a couple saved from customer quilts I did this week. So this one is called Repeat Feather Fantastic. So I'm just going to say save. And it's saving my file. So now if I go to design, if I had to turn this off now and open it back up tomorrow morning, if I go to, why didn't it save it there? Design, open, it should have saved it. If I go to current, it's right here, Repeat Feather Fantastic. But it should have saved under my design, maybe because I didn't turn it off yet. Okay, so that's why I don't stretch my patterns. I just let it, I just overpopulate my area. And then that way, I can keep the size of the original pattern that I changed to. So if you go from a 6-inch pattern and you change it to a 12-inch pattern, if you stretch it, it's going to want to stretch the whole thing, and your flowers are no longer going to be round, or your curves are not going to be, you're going to get, if you have circles, your circles are going to turn to ovals instead of being circles. So you want to make sure that you just don't use stretch. I don't like using stretch. I do have a video where I did use it in a border, and you can see why I used it there. But when I set up my edge to edge, I'm going to cut off those edges anyway, because I'm outside on my batting. I like to go 1 inch off on both sides of my batting, and I'm going to cut that off anyway. It's a utility quilt. It's not a show quilt. It's going to be bound and cuddled and washed, so it's okay if I have half a flower or half a leaf on my pattern that I'm cutting off. It's not a big deal. So let me know if this helped you, and I hope that this will bring you success in setting up your edge-to-edge patterns. Quilting with Harriet, like and subscribe. See you guys later. Bye.